right now, starting now, 2 hours plus nonstop NBA DFS conversation, taking you all the way up. The tip-off tonight is the start of the NBA in-season tournament. You're going to see all sorts of funky colors as far as the courts, as far as the uniforms. It's also a 7-game slate, the very first Goldilocks slate, where it's not too many and then not too few as far as the amount of games. Myself and Bobby Gomes, former $1 million winner, Bobby Gomes. Bobby, are you with me? I feel like everybody else kind of sort of somewhat agrees with this. Maybe you feel otherwise, and just sort of it depends upon like how your success range is. But I love the sweet spot, like 6, 7, 8 games or so. Not too few options, not too many where we're fully overwhelmed, as we've seen already in this season. We're going to see next week as well, because there's no games on Tuesday, so Monday and Wednesday is going to be madness. But welcome to the show, Bobby. Happy Friday. And are you too? Also, are you in favor of the old 7-game, 8-game slate?
I'm in favor of the old 7, 8-game slate, Dean. I'm with the rest of the industry. Definitely not contrarian on that take. I do like larger slates too, but it's been tougher, obviously, when you have a kid and a pregnant girlfriend, and your girlfriend's like, "Why aren't you playing with the kid?" And you have to get all these adjusting for news on your computer. I don't hate late swap. For me, I always love late swap. Like when people would complain about it on Twitter or everything, I'd be like, why are you complaining? But now I kind of get it. So I sympathize with those people a little bit, but still late swap and larger slates. It's tougher for me now, definitely. So 7 games is kind of where seems like a good spot.
But it's also like one of those things not enough people do. So it's kind of one of the edges you actually have in late swapping. So it's the old double-edged sword. But don't you always have? You can always fall back on just firing up Miss Rachel, right? Miss Rachel, she can kill a couple hours and keep the kid busy, right? Isn't she like your default plan?
Miss Rachel is my default plan. Yep. When you lose early, you just throw on Miss Rachel and you sit there and you wallow in your sorrows. But the kid loves it, so that's good.
Yeah. As somebody without a child, I was not aware.
Did you get your slate plan today for the show? You have it ready there?
Yeah, man. You know what? I feel more prepared than ever for today's 7-gamer, without question. Do want to say what's up to those in chat. Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn those notifications. Do all those things. We are going to be running a giveaway, RG Premium, a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. Not just basketball. It's all the sports, any sport you can think of, with the exception of NASCAR, but everything else, PGA, college football, NBA, MMA, if there's any MMA going on. That's basically all year long, isn't it? It's not really my streets. And also shout out to Santa Claus. I guess, this is when he makes an appearance, right? We're hearing Mariah Carey sing already. It's the day after Halloween, or a couple days after Halloween. Are people putting their lights up at this point? This is kind of the unofficial. I mean, it's too soon if you're asking me, but it's just, Bobby, one of the, I don't know, I don't want to be presumptuous. So you're putting lights on Halloween, the tree. You do all that stuff for the holiday, and when does that actually go up? When does that go into effect?
We're usually the day after Thanksgiving, but If it was up to me, I would do it today. I am already in the holiday spirit, Dean. Ho ho ho!
Really?
Santa Claus in the chat there. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, I love the holidays. There's a Christmas song that I was playing in the summer to put my kid to sleep. So yeah, the Home Alone song. Or whatever.
Okay.
Just to get them down,
Are you does your house play Christmas music throughout the day? Is that one of those things that's happening? Just kind of in the background?
No, not necessarily around the holidays though. We'll turn it on, definitely.
All right. Yeah. Do you have a favorite? I guess it's the Home Alone song, just because it knocks out the child and keeps him busy, I suppose. But
yeah, that's exactly why I would go with the Home Alone song. The theme song.
I was thinking the chalk was what All I Want for Christmas, the Mariah Carey song, but I feel like that's one of the more. I mean, if you want to go old school with the Chestnuts or whatever, that's going way back. But all right, it's a 7-gamer. Let's knock it out. Let's join the conversation in chat as well. We finally actually have a slate where we can just sort of take a little bit slower pace, right? As far as having a conversation in regards to these games. It's just kind of a sprint when it's 12 games or 13 games or 11 games. You can only focus on so much. Oh, and I mentioned the giveaway. I didn't tell you guys where to go. Of course, you want to go to the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord. Producer Devin has set something up. I believe you're just going to hit the thumb in his comment. I have not pulled it up just yet, but yeah, we'll be doing that around 6 o'clock on the East Coast. And we're going to give away 1 week free of premium, but maybe maybe, just maybe, we'll give away 2. I'll tell you what, you get enough likes, we might get 2. That's going to be what calls it. If we have enough likes at the time, if we're feeling shameful, we're just going to give away 1, and that's how it's going to go down. We're going to do a game by game in just a second here, Bobby, as far as what we're keeping our eyes on injury-wise when it comes to this slate. Kyrie was already ruled in earlier today. We have Levine expected to play. Cleveland, Jared Allen, he did practice. That's one of the first games we'll talk about. I expect him to be back, and I think there's a decent chance Garland comes back too. So Cleveland probably, we'll see. Nothing official. They're both technically questionable. They might get 2 big pieces back in their rotation. Halliburton's got an ankle. He's questionable. I think that's basically it. Jimmy Butler is officially probable, but it wouldn't shock me if something goofy happened there. He's been just off this year, and it's a home game versus Washington, where theoretically Miami should be able to handle him, but they've been pretty terrible as well. Anything as far as the slate overarching or injuries that you're monitoring most? I don't think there's one that's like ready to fall. It's really going to just like obviously anything can happen. We saw it out. This wasn't a big one. We saw Alec Burks get scratched after a lock, which is still super annoying. Stop doing that, NBA. Like a minute before the game started, basically. Fultz got scratched into the night last night. Well, at least it was an hour before his game started. But anything we're particularly monitoring? RJ Barrett's questionable, but like I don't think New York. I mean, I know they're playing basketball tonight, but I don't know how much they matter in this slate. What do you got here, Bobby? Anything, the big one that you're monitoring? Is there one that kind of stands out for you?
Yeah, the one that stands out for me, I know this is going to be super contrarian in regards to the slate because the Cleveland plays at such a slow pace, but I really want Tyrese Halliburton to be in because I don't think people will play him in tournaments, and I'm definitely going to be 2x the field. There's obviously others kind of talk about Darius Garland. If he's out, Mitchell will get a bump. If Shea's out, big usage bump for Giddey, Williams, Wallace. I really like Chet in that game, regardless. Shea is out, sorry. But I still like Chet either way. He's probably my favorite tournament play on the slate. Brogdon starting at point guard. We already know that Scoot's out, correct? Like I'm pretty positive. So, yeah. I think Shaedon Sharp would fall into some extra usage there. DeAndre Ayton. It's more of a mid-tier build, it looks like. We do have studs on the slate, but it's going to be tough with the value to kind of get there. But those would be the most that I'd be those are the injury situations where I'm trying to get my exposures deviated to players around the players that are out.
Producer Devin has dropped a poll in chat. He's asking if we care about the in-season tournament. And like it's only in addition to everything else is as normal. They're having some fun with the courts. They're having some fun with the uniforms, and they're going to play these games anyway. The only difference is, I guess, the finals will be in a neutral site. I want to say in Vegas in like a month or so, or whatever it is, 2 months. It's going to be Friday nights and Tuesday nights, at least for the foreseeable future, as far as when they're going to have these official, the tournament games, kind of a round robin style. It's groups of 5. There's 6 groups of 5, and you got to win your group. And also, I think differential is one of the tiebreakers. And it's an interesting question. Like, do the players care? Do the teams care? And I feel like the teams that like are not good and really know they can't win the title might like the idea of maybe going for this best they can. So I think Halliburton's going to play. One reason because of the in-season tournament, I suppose. But because it'd be fun to get a goofy team in there that wouldn't normally make a run for the championship. And do you think it affects minutes? The coaches, they just announced, I don't know if you saw this, there's a prize pool for the players. The players get some money. I don't know the exact numbers, to be honest. And they also said they're going to sweeten the pot, and the coaches get paid off as well. They control minutes. Like, again, if you're a coach on a team that has no chance of winning the title, I feel like you might push your players' minutes up incrementally. I have no idea. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 or 5 coaches will do that, and the rest don't care. I don't know which ones are which, but it'd just be worth monitoring. And I don't know how to project that. I don't know if our projection teams factor that stuff in there. Probably not. Do you have a take on that, or it's just, we'll see what the coaches do, but it's hard to kind of assume what individual coaches how they're going to react to this.
Yeah, so I think some coaches may, because they're incentivized too with the extra money. The bench players are incentivized with the extra money. It's the stars that I worry about. Like, are they really going to push these stars? That's where I'm trying to figure that out. But I do think you're right. Like, incrementally, some coaches could bump up players' minutes. I would like to see a team basically come out of nowhere and win it. I also don't think that like anyone cares about it, right? Like, it's pretty much something they're trying to get off the ground. I don't know, like how many people actually know this is taking place? Like the average sports fan probably has no idea this is going on unless they're basically watching League Pass every night and seeing the Michael Imperioli commercials. Is that who it is from?
Yeah, which I don't know. I thought it was an interesting choice, but yeah,
I thought it was an interesting choice too. Like, is that because he was in that HBO, the most recent the Locust show or whatever? Is that why he's making appearances all of a sudden everywhere?
He was on the White Lotus.
White
and of course,
Lotus,
he has ties to HBO, and obviously he was most famous for being Christopher Moltisanti on The Sopranos. A spectacular character. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he kind of sort of feels Vegas-y. Also, it's like takes place in Vegas. He just sort of, I guess he feels Jersey as well. I guess he feels Jersey, right?
Yeah, I feel like he feels Jersey. Can I be the Chris to your Tony, Dean?
I mean, I would not elevate myself to Tony. I mean, lucky if I'm like a Paulie Walnuts or something like that.
You have the makings of a varsity athlete, is what you're saying.
Oh, Uncle Junior, don't say it no more. If I hear it one more time, there's a little shout out to the Sopranos for the people. But my thought is, by the way, I think people are going to care. Momentum's going to grow. They don't really know it's existing, but as this tournament plays out, I think people will care by the time we get to the finals. And we're going to see the courts over and over, and there's going to be conversation building around it. And there's going to be a couple small market teams, like, mid-tier teams. I think that kind of just sort of crash the party, just the way it goes. And, smaller samples, like who knows? I was like an OKC team or like a Brooklyn, maybe not Brooklyn, but, I could see some that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be anywhere near the finals, but make a run here in the playoffs. So I think at some point people will care. And again, this is huge in Europe, like European soccer. I think that's where the idea was basically stolen from or borrowed from. They have mid-season tournaments over there in the European leagues, the soccer leagues. But I like it. There's no negative. There's no downside to it. Like if you don't, the games are being played anyway, and maybe we're adding a little bit more incentive on game 20 that you wouldn't normally care about. All right, let's dive in. Let's break it down game by game. The very first one is Cleveland. Cleveland taking on the Pacers. 226 is the total. Cleveland is a 3-point favorite here. Again, nothing official as far as Garland and Allen. They're both officially questionable. My guess is they're both going to play. I think they're both going to play tonight, and that will be the season debut for Jared Allen. I'm a little bit concerned as far as the minutes because it's his first game. Didn't play in preseason either, but he's got a pretty good price on DK. If you think he gets mostly full minutes, and it's a good matchup here against Indiana, they're really rough on the inside. We saw Mobley absolutely annihilate this team earlier in the year. I think it was 34-11. Of course, that's when Cleveland was pretty thin. Indiana, Halliburton's questionable, and as of right now, best we can do, we're projecting all those guys in. With everybody projected in this game, ownership-wise, nothing really jumping off the table. Mobley's getting, a 10% ownership as of right now on DK. It's the most popular player. Mitchell getting, 9%. We're giving Garland 8, which is kind of a tricky one because you've seen in years past when Garland comes back, they've done a couple times. They've just given him full throttle minutes. I don't know that's going to happen today, but we've seen it before where they fully ramp him up or giving him 34. But if everybody goes, I don't think there's any priorities. Stay tuned if if Allen is out, if Garland is out, if Halliburton's out. But as of right now, Bobby, I don't have any priorities in this game, and it's the only 7:00 game. So it's one I'm considering throwing out and getting myself an extra half hour's worth of information.
Yeah, I can understand why. Obviously, if Garland sits and Mitchell steps in, you're going to want to get to Mitchell. Same thing with Allen. If Allen and Garland both sit, then Mitchell's a great play. For me, though, I think everyone kind of plays Jared Allen. I think he would be a play that you could consider. It is funny though. Mobley at 8-1, he's showing the most ownership. Maybe I would prefer Mobley, I think, over Allen. But on the other side, no one's going to play Halliburton. This is a very slow pace. I don't think this is the spot for a game stack. I don't think a lot of people game stack and go out of their way to game stack in NBA anyways. And I think you can kind of get leverage when you can do it, but I definitely wouldn't recommend doing it in like a slog pace game like this one between the Cavs and Indiana. For me, getting over on Halliburton at 9,300, we have so much value. We have so much plays to play up for later. I think it will be pretty contrarian in tournaments. So don't mind getting 2x the field on Halliburton in this spot.
What is 2x the field? 3%? He's not going to be owned.
Oh, what are we having for ownership currently?
1%. Well, this is as of 345.
I could get Halliburton up to 15, 16% I'm going to play a good bit of Halliburton in this first game, just because I know the majority of the industry is going to stay away from that play.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too. I don't really love this spot per se, but like, I would get more than that number. I don't know if I get the 15, but I like it. I love that stand. Do you feel obligated to run it back on the Cleveland side if you're playing Halliburton? You have that kind of big spend, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. It's a two-point spread, right? Like you could. It's like I said, the pace isn't there. So if the pace was there, then I definitely have interest in doing it. But or if Allen and Garland were ruled out, and Mitchell was someone that was started to pop a little bit. But yeah, no, I would. My favorite play, just running Halliburton on the Indy side.
In the chat, Joaquin says this tournament is overrated. It's not even rated. Like, how can it be overrated? It's not. Who's rated it?
It's not even rated. There's no one. No one has interest in this tournament.
Well, there's no rating yet. You can't. It might be proven to be overrated at some point, I suppose. But currently, no one's rated it. They're dropping our boy Tasteful Tides. Tim is hanging out in chats, showing us a little bit, and then dropping Bobby. I'm sure you know this, but I'll take the gun, leave the cannoli. What movie is that from? You know this, right?
Yeah, take the gun, leave the cannoli. It's from what's it called?
We were talking Sopranos.
How am I blanking here? It's from The Godfather.
There you go.
It's the fat guy.
Yeah, I'm losing. Is it Luca Brasi? I'm forgetting which name it is. I don't recall.
No, it's not Luca Brasi. It's
I don't recall. It's not coming to me for some reason.
You're the movie guy, dude. You're putting me on the spot here. I don't know. If Hallie's out, just saying, who would you have interest in?
It's a mess. Yeah. We saw McConnell was awesome last game, but that's because he played, I think, 16 of the last 18 minutes of the game. He only played, I want to say, 10 minutes of the first half. I wasn't certain he would be like the full-on mop-up guy. They got shellacked last time, and he was mopping up, and he's always a good fantasy player. It's just that I don't know how certain his minutes are, especially if this game stays close. He probably would play closer to like 20, 21 or so. I want to see if we have an if-then already set.
I'm with you. I think people will go to McConnell, and he did. It was all the minutes he got was basically in a 50-point loss, right? Like to the Celtics.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I think a guy like Bruce Brown is fine. Benedict Mathurin, I'd probably prefer over Brown. He's 5'2".
So we have an if-then, Bobby, not to cut you off. We do have an if-then set for a couple of players. One is if Halliburton's out, Miles Turner becomes the best player as far as DK value. We would project him for 29 minutes and 37 DK points. The second best as far as DK value would be Nembhard getting 29 minutes and 26 DK points. And yeah, we're only projecting McConnell for 19, and that's if Halliburton is out. Obviously, you can't predict or project.
Hallie will play. Hallie will play.
There it is. Okay, I kind of expected he would because he cares. That Indiana, they're one of those teams that like might think they can have some fun in the in-season stuff. And if you're hanging out in Indiana, this is what the things you're rooting for. You're not going to root for a title this year, so I got a feeling we're gonna get some spirited crowds. And have you seen the courts yet? Have you seen some of them are pretty funky? They're pretty wild. Like the Jazz got a purple one. There's several gray ones.
I saw the Celtics one, and can you guess my feelings on it?
I'm guessing you hate it. It's green,
obviously. I hate it. Yeah, it's so bad. Oh, it's awful. I don't know. I just Eric in chat commented that the Celtics he thought were the favorite to win it. So I might bet.
Well, I mean, probably. Yeah. I haven't studied the groups, the brackets for what it's worth, but yeah, it's 6 groups of 5, and if you win that, you're automatically in. And I think there's like 2 wild cards, if I'm not mistaken.
So they said that it was random, pretty much all done at random, but it definitely wasn't done at random. Like it's just there's one very strong team in every division. Okay. And when I was watching the deep dive on it.
I didn't see. That's funny. I didn't. Yeah, yeah, this wasn't dumb where like there's like 17 people monitoring it, that kind of thing. There's a lot of old school conspiracies when it comes to the lottery with like Patrick Ewing many years ago. I'm sure you've heard about this.
Yeah.
Forcing him to go to New York. But yeah, I think it's good though. I mean, you kind of, I wouldn't even say it's random. Just like the top 6 teams should be separate. Just that's the way you seed stuff in the NCAA tournament. But all right, let's. Anything else as far as Cleveland, Indiana?
That's pretty much it. We've already spent too much time on Cleveland and Indiana.
Jalen Smith is in. If you care, you probably don't. just reporting the news. New York versus Milwaukee, 224 is the total. Milwaukee is a 5-point favorite here, despite being pretty terrible to start the season. Pretty bad defensively. They're expected to be fully healthy. New York, RJ Barrett is questionable. I think that was the other if then we had set up. Yeah. So Julius Randle becomes a pretty positive value, expected to play 36 minutes. The thing, he's been like, I only thought the worst, one of the worst shooters in the entire league so far this season, and he's still like doing okay fantasy wise. And if he actually can score, there is a ceiling, and we've seen that ceiling flash before. Not that his price has taken a big hit; he's still 8.2K, but if he can get his shot right, he could be a decent play here, I suppose. New York, one of the most predictable rotations in the league. With Barrett stepping aside, we're going to probably get Hart. If that happens, Hart will probably jump in the starting lineup, get a few more minutes from Quickly, get a few more minutes like DiVincenzo. But otherwise, I don't think much else matters. Giannis and Lillard. Lillard's been bad. He's been really bad outside of that one game to start the season, but I still think he's fine. Middleton, the minutes are, terrible. Lopez is super cheap on FanDuel, although his minutes got pulled out last game, but I can see them bouncing back today. What do you have as far as New York, Milwaukee? What's jumping out for you? How much do you care about the Barrett injury? I don't think I care a ton because I'm not really in New York. I'm okay with Randall either way. I'm fine with Brunson too. But again, for me, no priorities.
I'm with you. Randall and Brunson are fine. I do like Giannis and Dame. I think this is a get-right spot for Dame versus the Knicks. Team that funnels to the 3. I'm probably going to be over on Dame, and we don't have a high ownership on Dame currently. So I think that he's a very interesting play at 9.4. Giannis, I'm definitely going to have exposure to Giannis too. So I'm on the Milwaukee side where I think a lot of people are probably not as interested in it currently. I feel like more people would rather get to Jokic if they're paying up, but for me, I like Dame, like Giannis, not on any of these Knicks. Like you said, Randall, he's fine. Brunson, fine. They're not plays that I'm actively trying to get into my lineups, though. Barrett was out, then I'd probably pop one.
We just got an update as far as ownership, Bobby. 521 on the East Coast, so brand new batch of ownership. The closer we get to lock, the more information that comes in, the more in-out clarification we get, the more refined, more accurate the ownership gets. We have the most popular player in this game is Mitch Robb, center for New York at 14%, mostly just because he's pretty cheap. Pretty good defensive player, can get some blocks, but obviously his offensive game is pretty limited. Randall getting 10%, Burlow getting 10%. This is DK for what it's worth. Lillard 7%, Giannis 6.5%, Brunson 3.5%. I like Brunson more on FanDuel. I think he's like 7.7 over there. Yeah, but again, nothing really standing out. Are you going to have like 15% Mitch Robb, more or less as far as Mitchell Robinson?
Probably less currently. I have more, like I said, I'm around 20% for both Dame and Giannis for both of them. So, yeah, maybe I could have some Mitch Robb, but what do you have for a spread in this game? 6. I don't know. I feel like I'd probably prefer getting to a guy like Brunson. Brunson's up at 8.3, though. Quickly's down at 5.7. I think he's fine. I don't know. I'd prefer, just like you said, like I'm more interested in this Milwaukee side. There's not many Knicks that I'm really trying to get to. I know Randall has power forward center eligibility. He's up at 8.2. It seems like it's going to be more of a mid-tier. It's just a mid-tier construction if you look at all of the prices for the superstars. But Giannis at 10.8 is definitely cheaper than 13K Luka. And what's Jokic coming in at, like 12.6?
I think he's 12 something. Yeah, 13K. Have you seen 13 on? It's been a while. Usually that takes to the end of the season or something like that. And obviously Kyrie's back, so we haven't got to it yet. But Luka is going to be basically unowned. I guess he can put up 80 fantasy points. Sure, that is the back half, the second half of the ESPN doubleheader. Dallas and Denver, the very first game on ESPN as far as doubleheader, is this New York Milwaukee game. Maybe Giannis gets an extra minute or two, an extra 30 seconds, whatever it is. National TV game, you get a little bit more of a breather as far as commercials if you want to play those angles. But, his minutes, we're expecting 34. He typically doesn't get the 37, 38, or 36. But he can get the job done in 34. I think he's interesting just because, like you said, the price a little bit down here against New York, and certainly he can go out there and drop that triple-double, but dollar for dollar, I don't know if he's the best big spend on this slate. We'll get to more as we progress, but you got anything else as far as New York and Milwaukee, or shall we just move on?
We can move on.
Okay. All right. That's 2 down, 5 more to go. The Wizards, the terrible, terrible Washington Wizards, are in Miami against my terrible Heat. The Heat are kind of bad too. Every team improved in the league, basically everything that mattered, and Miami got worse, so it shouldn't be terribly shocking. They could be 0 for, by the way. Detroit almost beat them, so it's very possible Miami could be 0 for 5. I think Washington, do they have a win or no wins? They might have 0 wins. I think Memphis might be the only team actually does not have a win just yet. I think Washington might have stolen one somewhere. But, Washington at Miami tonight. Miami pretty big favorites here, 9-point favorites versus the Wiz. As far as body parts and who is in and who's out, we have no Corey Kispert for Washington. Daniel Gafford has been ruled in. Miami, we're expecting Love and Butler to be good to go. Caleb Martin still out for the Heat. I can't believe some of the quote-unquote value plays. I saw Josh Richardson being a value play earlier today, and that really grossed me out. I guess I kind of get it, but he looks kind of toasty these days. I guess it's kind of just the opponent, I suppose, and the salary. And we're looking for some salary savers. But, this starts the 8 o'clock slate here, Bobby. Ownership-wise, that is the most popular player as of right now, Josh Richardson. He's not great, an 18-point projection, basically, at 4K, 25 minutes. Just, salary is kind of tough. Some of these players, a lot of players seem to get a 5% bump or so across the board. So the teams you loved week 1, opening night, they were this guy's too cheap and this guy's too cheap. We're not really seeing that. And we're not seeing a lot of guys get ruled out to open up stuff. So, it's hard to love your lineups tonight. You got to make some tough calls. But, the Heat versus Washington. If you think Butler is fine, this feels like a get-right spot. If not Butler, it's going to be Hero that should absolutely, thrash this team. And if not Hero, Bam Adebayo. Your thoughts as far as Miami, Washington?
Yeah, I actually like this game a little bit. Jimmy Butler at 8'4", small forward, power forward. Don't mind him. It's a pace-up spot, right? They have to get a win at some point. So I don't mind Jimmy here. I don't mind Harrow. Harrow's been absolutely chucking. He's at 8-1. This would be the game that I'd probably be looking to game stack. Jordan Poole's going to eventually have a game. He's at 7-7. Don't mind him. I like Josh Richardson chalk. This is a Josh Richardson-like game, right? Shooting guard, small forward eligibility, up in pace, 4K. I like it in the context of this slate. I don't obviously enjoy playing it, but in the context of this slate, I think it's fine. Denny Avdija is the guy who's going to get lost in translation at 6-1. Don't mind him. Bam is in a fantastic spot as well. I think I would prefer Butler and Harrow to Bam, though, for what it's worth. I do like Kuzma, too, at 7-8, so I like this game. It would be the game I'll probably have some organic game stacks of this game based off the exposures I currently have.
We have Gafford as the most popular player right now on the Washington side, getting 11%. He seems pretty fragile. We're just giving him 24 minutes, so it's not like giving a huge minute projection. He's a pretty decent fantasy point minute guy, and the price is pretty good, 5.1K. And we've also seen the minutes on Washington be all over the place just because they're getting, walloped. It's just garbage time so quickly that you're not getting full run at guys like Tyus Jones or Kuzma, Denny Avdija. I guess it's possible. We can see a scenario in this game is close, for sure. Kispert being out probably opens up minutes for Landry Shamet, but not enough to really care. Your favorite player in Washington, who is it? You mentioned several guys. I think my favorite is probably Tyus Jones, but that's only because I'm forced to pick somebody. And, but theoretically this game is close. We should get more minutes out of Gafford and Jones and Kuzma. And then I guess Poole as well, but he's not going to get owned at all, by the way. We're looking at 1% ownership for Poole. He's just like a walking meme, right? But we don't care about that. We know what he is. He scores, when he's on, he's going to give you DFS points. His team's going to lose, but we don't care, right? As long as he puts points in the bucket, doesn't matter. Your favorite Wizard is who?
Yeah, I might go Poole. I think he's going to chuck. Eventually, it's going to result in a big game. So he's going to be my guy. I think Kuzma's right there. Denny has small forward, power forward eligibility. He's definitely going to be lost in translation. And in terms of like who we like the value pieces that we have, like Derek Jones Jr.'s chalk at power forward, like, ugh, that's disgusting. I don't know. A guy like Denny, I don't hate as well. If I had to say my favorite, though, it would be Poole.
Okay. You got anything else here? Or moving on.
That's it.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Could have been a really, really fun game if we got SGA. No SGA. So now we're going to try to guess who the fifth player on the Thunder is. 225.5 is the total here. Golden State at OKC. OKC 6-point dogs here. Like I said, no Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, kind of a bummer. They are getting Jalen Williams back. I don't know how much that matters, but he's going to be in uniform. Golden State, they are fully healthy. So this is one of the interesting points on the slate here, Bobby, with OKC. And talking about how there's not a ton of value, clear and obvious value, but theoretically, Isaiah Joe could be a value piece. We are projecting him to start. I don't think that's for certain. You got to pick somebody in there, right? It could be Kason Wallace. That wouldn't surprise me if he draws the start. He's probably the next likely guy, but as of right now, we're giving Isaiah Joe the start. And, for that reason, we're giving him, I think, 27 minutes. Yes, 27 minutes. And he's currently a 40% owned player, which, man, and he can shoot. That's what he can do. If he's not scoring, he's going to go to the bench pretty quickly. The floor could be rough. He also could put 20-plus points in the bucket. Jalen Williams sees the biggest bump, right, in the absence of SGA. So I think he's a strong play, but he's another guy who did get a bump in price. Chet Holmgren got a bump in price, but I think it's justified. We saw a ton of minutes out of him last game, too. Mid-30s, which we weren't sure how much he would get pushed. He's currently projected for 32, but there is a window. There is a world where he plays 34, 35, 36. The Thunder. What's your official stance? And I guess it might change going into the slate if Isaiah Joe's not starting. But, how are you handling SGA being out for the Thunder?
Yeah, so I think Chet is probably my favorite play on this slate. I don't think it's particularly close at 8K. We have zero ownership for him. That is not correct. He's going to be steamed up just in this situation. Isaiah Joe. What?
10% ownership on it.
You got 10%?
You got to hit the old refresh button, Bobby.
Yeah. 10%. I still think it's going to be, I don't know. Yeah. If it's around 10%, like I'm definitely going to be probably 3x the field, I would say. 7.6 for Chet. No, what I was looking at, I think you had FD up previously, and I was looking at the screen, and I don't know if that had been updated yet. Yeah. 1% pretty much. So I was looking at Fanduel when you had it up.
I got you.
So Jalen Williams is another really good play at 6'7", small forward, shooting guard eligibility. I can pretty much tell you that I'll have I'll be significantly under on Isaiah Joe chalk. We have him for 27 minutes. If he's going to be 40% owned, I know it's a 7-game slate, not a 13-game slate, but we can still find value that can get us off Isaiah Joe. I'll probably have a third of the field, like 1/3 of the field if I play him. I'm definitely not taking 40% Isaiah Joe. Giddey's in play.
Yeah, I was in the Discord earlier today. We were talking about that, and I totally agree with that call. I think you're supposed to be under. There's a lot of fragility there. Is it possible he puts up like 35 fantasy points and he's somebody you really need? Yeah, sure. But, I think it's a pretty good fade. And if that number is true, and we'll see, the closer we get to lock, things get changed. If he's not starting, it's going to get pushed down. But, 40% seems kind of like an outrageous number. I just lost my RG premium privileges. I have to get I don't know. I lost all my data, so we're gonna figure this out on the fly. Hopefully, it comes back.
Do you know a guy, Dean? Do you know anybody that can help you out right now?
I don't know, Devin. Do you know somebody? Can you
I might know somebody that can help you out on the back end here.
What happened to my? I'm like, where did I hit the refresh and then I just get the RG symbol? I'm like, oh, what's up with this? I can't
Dean,
tell what anybody's.
Remind our viewers about our giveaway.
Yeah. Okay. All the fabulous tools, the lineup HQ tool you're seeing on the screen, that could be at your. That's something you can use in addition to the optimizer. We're not showing that off. In addition to all the articles and the rankings, the bells, the whistles, every single sport. How do we go about getting that? You can get a week free you go into the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, and go to the live stream chat channel. Producer Devin has put up a little, just a sentence there, just to smash this thumb, and you'll be eligible. He's going to take your username and throw it up on a wheel, and we're going to spin that wheel at 6 o'clock on the East Coast, give or take. People are smashing it as I speak. And I should mention, if you want it for an entire season, as far as these tools, NBA DFS, it's back. Obviously, we're talking about it. The amazing suite of premium offerings, they're here at RotoGrinders for a limited time. You can get your premium locked in for $50, $50 discounted. Everything from the lineup HQ access up to the premium projections, ownership. Projections even change into the night as news is coming as well. You also have access to the fantasy pick'em tool for such sites like Prize Picks and Underdog. Tons more. There's going to be a link in the description for more information. Get yourself $50 off. All right, let's see if I get my access back as I throw it back to Bobby. Bobby, what do you have? We should mention Giddey Williams, who power rank the Thunder players for me.
Yeah, be Chet, Jalen, Giddey for me, in that order. Like I said, Chet's my favorite play on the slate. 7.6 for Chet. I think that's a very good price. We know what his ceiling. We've seen what his ceiling can be. I don't think we know what his ceiling is currently. He's not Wemby, but he's going to be a player in his own right for sure. So if that's how I had to rank them in terms of the studs, then Isaiah Joe is obviously the value piece. But like I said, I'm not too high on Isaiah Joe as value. On the other side, you can always play Steph. He's going to be very low owned. Warriors I think it would be Steph for me. I don't really like Draymond, I guess. I don't love any of these Warriors.
No.
Like I said, there's no one really standing out. Is there anyone that's standing out for you?
So we've seen GP3 close over Wiggins. Wiggins has really fallen out of favor. He's 5.5 on DK, and he's probably not closing again. It depends. It's all sort of fluid and game dependent, but they like Peyton's defense, and there's a decent chance he comes off the bench and closes. He's 3.8. He doesn't have a big ceiling, but he's a guy that can probably eke his way to 25 fantasy points. I'm not sure how useful that is in the slate, but there's not a lot loved. I would mention Klay Thompson on Fanduel. It's got a discounted price. I think he's 5.9 over there, 6.9 on DK, 5.9 on Fanduel. You don't get the 3-point bonus, but just sort of still a pretty good dollar for dollar value. But you can always play Steph, but it's that's your one big spend. He's not going to be owned. It's a good argument, and he could put 40, 45 points in the bucket. But it's hard to get to him. By the way, you didn't mention Lou Dort, and I understand why. I don't want to play Lou Dort either.
Yeah, small forward, shooting guard, 4.8.
Dort's your chamber. A good defensive player. The usage isn't there. I think it's 15% usage. He's probably going to – his minutes are pretty secure, which is one thing we could say about him, which is positive. But, he's going to be the 4th or 5th option on the court when he's out there. He's capable of hitting a three, but certainly he's not, somebody they run their offense through. And we're projecting 33 minutes for him. And just for that reason, but we're seeing 9% ownership on him. I thought it'd be higher than that. And it's just worth mentioning as far as ownership. We mentioned Joe getting 42%, not the highest player. Jalen Williams at 43%, one of the highest projected players on the slate. And he got a boost in his price, but still pretty solid there. Jalen Williams, like him a good bit. I agree with you. It's hard to find a Warrior that you feel great about when you consider salary and everything.
What about Zwarych at 4.2 in a revenge spot versus OKC? He's probably pretty vengeful, right? This is the ongoing joke we have there.
It's a Chris Paul revenge game too, if you want to play that route.
CP3 revenge too, yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel great that Zwarych is going to play a ton of minutes. We're projecting him 16. I guess he can play 20 if things are going well. But he's 4.2. He's not even in the threes. DK is so I think they went a little too reactionary. The one that's really insane is in this game too, Bobby. Kason Wallace is 5.4. He should be in the 4s. He's the guy that might draw the start. We'll see. I was like, oh, that's an interesting pivot away from Isaiah Joe. And I saw his price is 5.4. And I'm like, even if he starts, can I play this guy? I don't know.
I'm telling you, Dean, Chet is the play. Play Chet.
I
Play
love Chet.
Yeah.
I love it too. And even like you said, 10%, you're gonna be over that about 30%. You have any rules? You're capping like a certain number of no more than X number of players on a certain team, no more than 2 or 3 Thunder players. Anything you put in as far as your optimizer?
I think you do 3. I would cap it at 3. I usually don't go more than 3.
Yeah,
I don't cap it though. I don't know.
No,
just let it happen organically.
Like I saw, like just yesterday, for example, I think small slate, but you could have got like 4 or 5 Pelicans, and I get that on some sites. And we've had it before where we had like probably 4 Cavs on a previous slate this year. So you just like let that stuff happen. Basically, you don't care.
I would set it at like I look out for like if I'm getting more than 3. Like if I'm getting 4, I'd have some reservations, but I'm not going to put that team into my script if that's the case, right? I just don't set the rule.
See if there's any sort of news coming in on the old Twitter. It seems pretty quiet. Let's move on. There's still 3 more games, and then we'll get to your questions in chat. Maybe this is like it's a breeze, right? 7 gamer. We can kind of pace ourselves. Chat, feel free to ask your questions that everyone's in your mind. If you have a this guy or that guy question, we'll do our best to knock those out as well. If we don't answer those questions, Crunch Time will answer them. Crunch Time, you got the Taylors, the All Taylor Show. Taylor Smith is going to be on the show, as well as Kevin Roth and Taylor Zwarych. You guys know him better as TJ. TJ Zwarych will be coming on Crunch Time around 6:20 or so. Roth will be taking you guys home, answering your questions. Do put your questions in the Discord channel. That's where they're prioritized. Eventually, if time allots, they'll be asked, will be answered. Roth will ask the questions, and they will be answered that happen to be in the YouTube. But I have my eyes on the YouTube and Discord as well. Fire them off. Brooklyn, Chicago. 222 is the total. We got a 3-point favorite for the Bulls tonight. The Bulls are the one team that like DK still has been hesitant to price up individually as far as who's in and who's out in this game. Let's see. As far as Chicago, Levine should be good to go. Ayo Dosunmu is doubtful. He had the fish. He's not feeling particularly well. I don't know how much that changes, but he's probably going to be rolled out. Brooklyn, we're expecting Dinwiddie to play. Claxton is still out. Cam Johnson is going to be gone for a while. Bulls, Nets, what do you got for me?
Yeah, for me, on the Bulls side, really like Zach LaVine. Think it's a good spot for him tonight. Versus the Nets, like I feel like Zach LaVine's kind of struggled as the season's kind of started. He got going a couple games ago, but I feel like the majority of the people that have been playing NBA DFS have probably a sour taste in their mouth from LaVine. I'm playing LaVine tonight at a good clip. Vucevic is another guy, really good spot versus the Nets. Don't mind him. On the Bulls side, on the net side, like I don't want to play Dinwiddie. Cam Thomas is fine. It would be more just give me the Bulls, the two main Bulls, and go from there. Like I'm definitely not playing Dinwiddie. I feel like I could play some Cam Thomas if I had to play anyone, but that's about it.
Last show I was on, I was told that Cam Thomas is the greatest basketball player of all time. Like he's going to continue shooting at like a 90% clip, and it turns out he's not. He's not that amazing. He's good.
Who told you that? Who was that?
Maybe one of your neighbors. One of your neighbors might have told me that.
Oh, Kirky? Come on,
yeah,
Kirk.
Yeah, and maybe somebody that's going to be on Crunch Time later on today. Was also they're both trying to tell me how amazing.
He probably
Cam
loves
Thomas
the court. He probably loves the parquet at the Garden right now for this tournament. I could just see him being all over it.
Like as a permanent change, I don't like it, but as like for fun, every once in a while, I like it. It's fun, right? Probably you shouldn't have it that way all the time.
I'm like Tim. I don't like fun.
Well, embrace the fun, man. Ownership wise, Simmons is getting 8%. Royce O'Neal 7%. Nothing really jump off the page. The addition to Dinwiddie kind of mutes a lot of these players' ceilings. Cam Thomas 7.2K now. Like he's got to get there via points. We keep talking about that. Can he put 30 points in the bucket? Sure, he can. But doesn't grade out as a good like dollar for dollar play. As far as the Bulls, here's a question in chat. This is a tough one because I like Vooch a good bit as well. Who was asking this question? Joe was asking Chet. You like Chet or Vooch on FanDuel? I like them both. I think I ranked them both today in my top 8. You have a preference amongst those two? I know you're a big fan of Chet today.
I'm a fan of Chet. Yeah, Vucevic is fine too, but I think I'd prefer Chet.
Let's see. Myself and Keith and yourself, we ranked both those guys in. Let's see. Yeah, you have Chet ahead of Vuk, as do I, but it's close, and they're both basically the same price. Holmgren's 8K, Vuk is 8-1. I was pulling up our value rankings. Myself, yourself, and Keith, and consensus-wise, we also have Chet Holmgren ahead of Vuk, but they're both in the top 5 as far as centers. Let's see. And DK like DeRozan, like everybody else got a bump, but DeRozan's like 7-3, Levine's 7-4, Vuk 7-5. They're all pretty good. They're all in the teens as far as ownership. What about the Kobe White thing? Speaking of players that DFS players probably don't like rostering, he's an adventure for sure. Could certainly put 20 points in the bucket. He certainly can go 0 for 8, and that's it. He's not going to get you much else. What do you think of White's? He was getting more ownership earlier in the day. Looks like it's come down, but he's still getting some.
Yeah, I'm getting 17% currently at Kobe White. I just think
it's good about that.
Like I feel like this is such a Levine spot for such a Zach Levine spot. I think he'll probably take away from White if he goes off. I understand White's 5-1, so you could definitely play them together, but yeah, he's hitting my stuff, but he's not necessarily like a priority.
Our guy, Butto Jenkins in chat says Chet or Miles Turner straight up on DK. That's got to be Chet, right?
Chet, yeah. Chet's the best play in the slate for me.
Yeah, I love that call as like a bold stance. 10 minutes away from getting the giveaway. The giveaway, we're going to be giving 1 week away for 1 week to RG Premium. Your access to all
Chet
the
be
tools.
My favorite play if I haven't tagged him in HQ? I haven't gone on. I haven't since we started the show. I ran my last crunch and I haven't gone back to HQ. I can do it.
You've got let's see, Jalen Williams. You have tagged. You have Isaiah. Wait, hold on. This is you, right? Yeah, Isaiah Joe tagged. Giannis.
I tagged him this morning,
Giannis
but
tagged.
I was going to remove him when I had the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, these things change. Everything is fluid when it comes to basketball, obviously. 10 minutes away. Get in the Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Just hit the thumb on producer Devin's post, and you'll be eligible to win a week free of RG Premium. We're going to give away 1, maybe 2, depending on how if we can strong arm Devin into giving away 2. We'll see if we can do that on live when he jumps on. He'll cave. He'll cave in some peer pressure. So what helps him? If you hit the like button. He might be more apt to give away a second individual week of RG Premium. The second game of the ESPN doubleheader, that's Dallas, the Mavs, versus the Nuggets. 228.5 is the total. Dallas is a 6-point dog here. Kyrie is coming back. He is good to go. Maxi Kleber is out. He's got Jokic-itis. I don't want any part of that. Good luck there, Derek Lively. You handle Jokic. Denver is fully healthy. They all have probable tags, right? Jokic, Murray, both probable. Otherwise, they should be clean and good to go. I love Jokic here to just smash and annihilate the world, but it's just a salary cap thing, man. Turns out we do live in the world of a salary cap, and I don't know how much I can get to him, but I love him just to annihilate, the rookie, the youngster, and Lively. That's where it starts as far as this game. I'm not going to pay up for Luka. I just can't get the 13K with Kyrie out there. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not making enough teams. Your thoughts? Pretty clear, like the big spends are what's most appealing here. I guess some of the mid-tier guys in Denver are interesting. MPJ. Gordon's been very good this season so far. Are you finding the salary? Are you finding the funds for Luka? I imagine first you go to Jokic, but you tell me. We live in the world of a salary cap.
Yeah, first I would go to Jokic. It's going to be between Jokic and Giannis. I just updated my lineup HQ tag, so Chet's in there and Isaiah Joe's out of there. Giannis is another one. Like it's going to be between Giannis and Jokic in terms of spends. You're getting less ownership on Jokic. This could be a triple-double night or triple-double spot for Jokic in general versus this Dallas front court. So maybe I might have to I play 150, so I'm going to get over on Jokic anyways, but it's just like he's only 6%. All I need is 12, right? But yeah, for me, it's going to be one of him or Giannis that I'm probably going to play. Currently, it's Giannis, but if stuff changes prior to lock, I think Jokic is definitely in play as well. So as a spend, as he always is. Who else is there? Derek Jones Jr. chalk at 3.6. Like
is that what you want?
If he's starting, I feel like he's a value play that you can it's the slate context, right? Like there's not a ton of value in the slate. So if he's starting, I think he's in play as someone who is value. In terms of everyone else, I don't know. It gets tough. I don't love Michael Porter. We have him for 16%. That's interesting. Jamal Murray's under 10%. Grant 4.8. I wouldn't play any Grant.
He's got to make some threes basically, but he's going to lose a couple shots to Kyrie.
Get a few stocks. I don't know. For me, it's just Jokic and maybe a value play in Derek Jones Jr. These other guys I'm not too interested in.
Tim Hardaway getting 10% seems weird. I don't really get that. 28 minutes for THJ. We also saw him lose the close to I think Jaden Hardy closed over him last game. That could have just been like a one-game anomaly, but just worth noting. There you go. It's a tough game. I want to get the Jokic too. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I'm fine with Murray as well. The Dallas side, it's just really, really hard to get the Luka. Luka 5% as far as ownership, and it might even be lower than that, I think, when all is said and done, just because the way the slate shapes up. And it's possible, we get some value pieces, but as of right now, we're scrounging, Bobby. The names we're throwing out there are pretty rough. Let's just do this, like point per dollar. We'll talk about Memphis, Portland in a second, which, spoiler alert, is my favorite game of the slate. I think it's going to be a lot of people's favorite game of the slate. I don't know, man. It's going to be gross, but somebody has to win it. Memphis has been so bad, and Portland predictably terrible. Point per dollar, like best plays in the slate, just point per dollar. There's nobody that's 6Xing. Not one player is a 6X player projection-wise on DK. The top guy, Bobby, is Jalen Williams, according to our projections, which is a little strange because typically it's guys that are super, super cheap. But, we're getting a big usage bump with him, 6.5K. Isaiah Joe, number 2. I'm already feeling squeamish. I don't like it. Malcolm Brogdon, we'll talk about him in a second. Kamara, we'll talk about him in a second. DeRozan at 7.3 is the next guy, Triple J. Luke Kennard, Desmond Bane. Well, yeah, I guess it's all in the Memphis-Portland game. Anything interesting there as far as point per dollar stuff? Obviously, this is just median stuff and you're shooting for ceilings. Any of those names kind of weird or stand out to you as far as best point per dollar plays currently on DK?
The best play for me would probably be Toumani Camara. It's small forward, power forward. He's got multi-position eligibility. He's the value piece that I think is the strongest on the slate. You're talking about the Memphis-Portland game. It's probably my best. It's a typical, the only DFS players are going to watch this game, right?
Oh, yeah.
So for me, like, Kamara is fine. Isaiah Joe definitely getting away from that or trying to get away from that. Brogdon, I think, is a good play at 6.5 in that Portland-Memphis game as well. Luke Kennard, I don't love. 3.6 for Kennard.
Can he hit a bunch of threes? Maybe.
Yeah. He's just, the issue is he's just super one-dimensional, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Their bench is so bad.
He's shooting guard eligible, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. Shaden Sharp, I think, is a good play, but he's 7.3, right? So.
But he might play 40 minutes. I think he played 42 minutes last game.
I'm fine with Sharp. I'm definitely gonna have Shaden Sharp on my teams for sure.
Should mention, by the way, I didn't set the table here, but Aldwin's not officially out, but he is doubtful. Ja is obviously out. Derrick Rose is not playing for Memphis. Just one more body that's out. Portland is without Anthony Simons, their number 1 option, and Scoot Henderson, who's going to be out for, I guess we'll see, maybe a week or two. I guess we don't officially know. We only care, we care about tonight only. He's out, which Brogdon has been awesome, like for Portland. He's been clearly their best player. He's having a career high in usage, almost 30% usage, coming off the bench, and just like these, who else is going to take these shots? And eventually he's going to get traded, but tonight he's going to be on Portland. He's playing for the Blazers, and we think he's jumping in the starting lineup. And he kind of has to, right? I mean, even on Boston, he like never really started when things happen. They liked him coming off the bench, but what's the alternative? Skylar Mays? Like they have to start Brogdon, right? I think.
I mentioned Brogdon, didn't I? I feel like I definitely mentioned Brogdon.
Oh no, I just think he's like one of the bigger pieces, or the bigger chalk pieces in the slate. We should sort of have a conversation about it. It feels really good, 6'5" Brogdon, because we're assuming he starts and we're assuming he plays. I think he had like a 31 or 32 minutes. Yeah, it's
any Ayton love. I'm pretty interested in Ayton. I feel like in the spot. Maybe I shouldn't be. Wondering your thoughts.
I don't love the matchup against Triple J. I don't know if he's going to get a direct matchup, but Triple J is going to be lurking on the inside. I like Jeremy Grant more.
Yeah.
If I were to run down the Portland guys, I like Brogdon, Sharp, and Grant more than Ayton, and probably dollar for dollar, I like Kamara as well. I got Ayton fifth. I'm not saying you can't play him, but I would have him fifth. We liked Ayton the night that Robert Williams didn't play, right? Time Lord. That's the night
I really like the Grant call 6,400. I'm very interested in the Grant. Are you against? You said you liked Grant, correct?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna stack this game multiple ways, and I don't make a ton of lineups. So, and I think when I say stack, like a lot of times you say a stack, and it's like a 1-1. Like you can stack, Denver and Dallas and Luka and Jokic. That's kind of like stacking the game, right? I'm talking like I'm okay with like a 2-2 or like a 3-2 in this game, and the salaries allow that. I don't know if that's super chalky, but that's the path I'm going to go and just kind of fill in along the way. And if nothing else, at least my lineups are not dead until later on in the night. I got a chance because this is the last game on the slate. Interesting, by the way, there's 7 games. The 5th game is played at 8 o'clock, multiple games at 8 o'clock. And then there's a break. There's a 2-hour break. So it's almost like a double header. 2 games late, 10 o'clock window, Denver, Dallas, and Memphis, Portland. This is where I'm going to go. And then as far as the other side, like Memphis has been terrible, but it feels like Triple J should have his way with this Portland team. Desmond Bane should just take 30 plus shots here. Their bench is so bad. Like if you look, the reason why Kennard's kind of interesting is look at the rest of the names, like Roddy, Concher, Kenny Lofton, just, a fun novelty, I guess. Larivia. It's so bad. So I think Memphis is going to want to. I think both these teams want to win, and you want to play the old the tournament stuff. Portland, I think they're going to try. I think they're going to try this game, and I know it's a weird thing to say, but like at some point they're going to take their L's. A lot of times it'll happen just organically, but I love this game. And the Memphis side, power rank the Grizz for me. Who's your favorite players on the Memphis side?
Yeah, so we have Smart. I like Smart. Then it'd probably be Triple J. Then it would be Bane. I just, for whatever reason, Bane doesn't like. I'd much rather just. This could end up being a bad call, but I pretty much prefer the Banes, the Smart side for 2K cheaper than Bane at 8.8. Yeah.
Who do you like prefer as far as Bane versus Triple J? I'm not sure if you said already. I apologize. I was speaking in the chat.
I think I'd also prefer Triple J in that scenario.
Yeah, I got a slightly to Bane, but I'm not going to say wrong.
I know the field's probably going to Bane more often than not, so I just go to Triple J.
I meant to check this. Is Bismack Biyombo available for this game? Is he somebody that could possibly play this game? Because Memphis signed Bismack Biyombo off the street. And, I don't know if he's going to get any run out the gate. I don't know if he's in uniform or not, but just, I guess, worth noting. I'm curious if he is available. Tillman is cheap, but like his minutes just kind of fragile. But theoretically, they could be good.
We have Roddy for 23 minutes at 3.9. Like, I think that's pretty interesting.
I guess that means that either Bismack's not available or they just don't expect him to play. I've not seen, meant to check that. I did not. That's a lot of minutes for Roddy. I'm kind of surprised he's getting that many. Yeah. Are we splitting? Let's see how many minutes we give. We're giving him to 23.
Yeah, we have him for 23 currently.
And again, that's also in part because that bench is so bad. Like somebody can't
somebody
just
have to play. That's what I'm saying. So that's where the minutes are coming from.
All right, gonna knock out questions in chat in just a second. Start compiling those, but now we got to bring in producer Devin. Devin, we're gonna give away at least 1 week of RG Premium Have you been swayed? Do we have enough likes from the people to give away 2 weeks? Can we get one more? Is that it? Is it over? Can anybody still register? Or the wheel's done. The wheel's locked in.
Let me go ahead and check if we got any last ones, because I'm going to say now is the last time. Yep, we're closed. All right, Sugar Ray was the last one. We have 67 likes. If I can get 2 more, we'll make a second winner.
Why
here.
2? Why just 2 more? Why not 3?
It's a really nice way to show your appreciation of the show, I think. So we'll go ahead and start with the first wheel spin here. Get ourselves a winner going. Any choices on color?
Well, Bobby wants green because of his favorite team. I'll leave that for Bobby. I'll take red because of Miami, I guess.
I'll take blue. Let's do it.
For Titans.
Green is I like green.
Green's the winner.
That's bud.
All right, I will reach out to you in Discord, and let's go ahead and get that second one rolling, because we got.
Did we get to 69?
We got way more than that, so we'll say it was a group effort here. All right, one more spin here.
Hey, Devin, while I have you, your favorite team, the Titans, how amazing are those throwback Houston Oilers jerseys, and why are they not wearing them every single game going forward?
Congratulations, Monty. Before I answer your question, Dean, they are nice. There were some people attributing our success to the outfits, which kind of feels like picking a winner based on the mascots.
Yeah,
but, I'll speaking specifically to last night. I was saying this in chat. Will Levis, I think over Tannehill going forward for me. I've seen enough. I've seen enough for me to like him more, I think.
I don't even think that's a question, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's looked pretty good.
I kept seeing
going into Pittsburgh too.
Shots of Levis getting talked to by Tannehill. I was making jokes with my wife that he's like, "Don't take my job, please don't take my job."
I guess there was no offers, but I don't know why they didn't move Tannehill, like get anything for him. But I'm not really sure what his contract situation is. But
I can tell you why, dude.
What's the reason? Well, so yeah. Well, I mean, is he better than Josh Dobbs? Because Minnesota traded for Josh Dobbs. Not to knock him, but is that?
No, I get it. I guess
I'm not saying he's good.
I think he's young. He's older than Dobbs. Dobbs is younger,
yes.
and maybe they see.
Well, and who are they giving time to? Right? They've been happily giving Levis plenty of time, but not so much Dobbs. Well, we got some questions loaded up in chat. Not to deviate too far from basketball, I'm going to drop in Discord for the winners, and I'll let you guys get these questions.
Yeah, about 10 minutes until crunch time comes in. The Taylors, you get both TJ Zwarych and Taylor, from running a lot of contact. I don't think he's ever done a Grinders live show, so I think this will be a first one, unless I missed it. My apologies if I did. Myself and Bobby were happy to answer a bunch of questions in chat, start loading those up. We did get news. RJ Barrett officially ruled out. We got the news that Josh Hart is going to draw the start. That's not terribly shocking. We kind of expected that. Let's see. I'm scrolling back up if I missed your question. If I did not ask your question, I apologize. I probably missed it. Hero or Cam Thomas is a question in chat. For me, that is very clearly Hero. But your preference amongst those two?
It's also very clearly Hero. I like the Washington side in that game. I like that game in general. I like some of the Heat players. So, like Butler, Bam. On the other side, I like Poole, Kuzma, Denny. So I'm very intrigued in getting exposure to guys in this game. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I am. It's just the context of the slate.
Derek's got a deep field DK GPP. And by the way, if you're asking questions, it's helpful. Let us know if it's like for cash, if it's for a tournament, if it's DraftKings, if it's Fanduel, if it's a large field contest or a single entry contest. That does make it easier to answer the questions. Derek wants to know large field DK tournaments, Kobe White or Kason Wallace. I think if Wallace starts, he's probably better. We don't know if that's going to happen. Your preference amongst those two?
I would say White unless Wallace starts.
Let's see. Derek also is asking about Kubale for value. We haven't seen it quite yet. The dude for Washington. I know he's drawn a start here and there. And I'm pretty sure, to my knowledge, he's most famous just for being teammates with Wembanyama over in Europe. You have any interest? You mentioned having some interest in Washington. Is he one of the guys on your radar?
I will have some Koulibaly. Yep. Does a lot. Stocks, shoots threes. The minutes he's gotten opportunity. Like, it's not like he hasn't gotten opportunity. So I think in terms we're starved for value and larger field stuff, I think you'd definitely take a chance.
They're asking if Caruso gets a bump in the absence of Ayo Dosunmu. He might have got a minute or two. I did not. Let me check and see what his projection is. We're giving him 24 minutes, 20 fantasy points, 4.5K. You know, it's. Do you have any interest in Alex Caruso? He gets there during stocks, and then he'll get the occasional three, but you know he's not a big usage guy. Obviously, you got Caruso anywhere? About a fantasy point minute so far.
No Caruso. No Caruso.
Kenny Lofton plays basketball. Yes, he retired from baseball many years ago, and he's since picked up basketball. I think it's Kenneth. I should get all technical. It is. I don't feel like I know him well enough. I can't call him. It's like the Eustatus and the two form in Spanish. I'm going Kenny. Let's see. Now I'm seeing people picking their favorite color for the wheel. Right. Any word on Zach LaVine? Jimmy's asking. Yeah, we're expecting him to play, and you like him, right, Bobby?
Yeah, I like LaVine in the spot. Very good spot for Zach LaVine tonight.
All right. Eric wants to know, what does deep field mean? Deep field means if you pull up, let's see, if you're going on DraftKings, probably the stuff, Bobby, that you're running 150, and I assume you're running 150. Tell me otherwise. The ones that, we're talking about 20,000 entries. Let's see, what is the 15? How big is that field on DK tonight?
I think it's like 39,000 today.
31,000. Yeah. 31. Yeah. A lot. That's what would you constitute a deep field? I would say at least 5,000. I don't know, 10,000.
A lot of entries. 5,000 plus. Yeah, a lot of entries.
Yeah. Flying Armbar, can you go over your favorite 4 plays on FanDuel for cash or tournament, please? Just got here. We haven't done a great job concentrating on FanDuel. I've thrown out some plays here and there on FanDuel. I'll give you Noto's core plays. How about that? If you go to
the give me Noto's cores for FD.
But shout out to Noto today. Are you doing the Tournament Takes podcast tonight?
We are, isn't he? I feel like he's a little under the weather from the chat I was reading. I didn't respond to it though.
In his article today, he mentioned he was coming down with COVID. So I don't know if he's going to be good to go. Hopefully he is. He says he's going to have his best Jordan flu game impression. But he had a lot of fun in his article today. If you read his core play articles, he was talking about the words the kids these days are saying. He was dropping yeet and no cap and bet. I'm reading it right now. This isn't stuff.
I have no idea. No cap is beyond. I don't get what they're. I don't understand.
That means you're not lying. I think that means you're not lying. You're telling the
truth.
Legit.
Like what's it?
Yeah, like I'm not lying. Like this happened. No cap. Like that's you just. I'm not lying to you. I can't believe I'm explaining this.
I was going to say it's so funny hearing Dean say this. No cap is.
If you want to know what bussin', I can use it in a sentence for you if you'd like. But he used all these words in his article today. It was spectacular. So it was a lot of fun. It was a fun read from Noto. So congrats to him, despite playing injured, I guess. His favorite plays, his core plays on FanDuel are Brogdon, Jalen Williams, and Desmond Bane, which I love all 3 of those. And you know what? Let's give away Squirrel Patrol. You guys know him? He's won $1 million. He's won a lot of tournaments. He likes Vuk. I know you like Vuk as well. Shaden Sharp we talked about. He's got a little. He's got Kamara as well for that Memphis game. So there's some players to get you started. They're going to go around the horn when the crunch time comes on in about 5 minutes or so. They'll go position by position on FanDuel and go a little more in depth. Do you have anything in particular, Bobby? I think you're more of a TK guy, if not mistaken. But by all means, feel free to throw somebody else into the pool as far as your favorite play on FanDuel.
Yeah, in terms of FD, let me switch over to what I had up earlier. Yeah, I think I had Vooch I liked a little bit. 1 second, waiting for it to load.
Yeah, no worries. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Who did I have for FD? I think I had Ayton, Jalen Williams, and Brogdon.
Yeah. Did Giannis go away? You had Giannis earlier.
I had Giannis too. Yep, Giannis was in there.
Okay. All right. I thought maybe I had to hit the refresh or something like that. Herbert, good. Friend of the show says, any interest in Dort? We both kind of besmirched it, right? Like if you fall into it, I guess it's the worst thing in the world. But, if you're going to power rank Thunder players, it's probably 4 or 5.
That's how it is for me. Like it's Chet, Jalen Williams. I feel like he falls below Isaiah Joe, even though I'm not really playing Isaiah Joe. So, yeah.
Mr. Richard, would one play Brogdon and Sharp in the same lineup, DK single entry or 3 max? I think a lot of people are going to be doing that. If you're asking like a way to be different, just, Sharp is projected to play a ton of minutes and his price is probably still a tick too low. Brogdon, I think, is going to be the most popular play on the slate on DK. Are you okay playing those guys together, Brogdon and Sharp?
I'm fine with it. I think Sharp is a very good play relative to where we have him currently. Where do we have him currently on? He's definitely. I feel like he was. Yeah, like 14%. I could easily get 30 of Sharp.
Steve says, how many DK points does Luka need to make the 13K make sense? Jeez. I think he needs to hit at least 69.
Famous last words, but I don't see myself playing a ton of Luka tonight.
I don't either. Yeah.
He's 13K with Kyrie back. It's just I would try to find another spend.
I want to see what our ceiling projection is for him. Our actual projection is our ceiling is 71.66. That's our ceiling projection on Luka. Our floor is 48. Our projection is 60. 60 is a median projection at 13K. Like it probably doesn't kill you, but there's going to be several players, that go close to 60 or around 60 or so that are probably better dollar for dollar plays. Now, if he puts up 80, you're going to want him, but I don't think he puts up 80. He can. I just don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen necessarily. Flying Armbar wants somebody to. We want to replace Isaiah Joe. He's not really a big fan of Joe tonight. Thinks he's going to bust. He might. Who's your favorite pivot off of Isaiah Joe as far as some cheapies?
Camerata. Is that how you say it? Kamara?
I'm not sure. I should know, but that's one I didn't. Usually I'll go in and I'll listen to like their highlights. And that's how I get it.
Kamara.
I want to call him Kamara, but I don't know. I wish I should know.
Kamara? Yeah.
Butto Jenkins is saying sneaky value play Dante DiVincenzo. This is a revenge game for Dante DiVincenzo as well. And the absence of Barrett should open up a couple more minutes to him. I guess he's fine. We're projecting. Actually, let's see. We're giving. What's our projection for him? He might be playable. Actually, how do you feel about Dante DiVincenzo?
He's fine. I like a little revenge on a slate like this, I would say.
Let's see. He's 4.1K. So I think he's going to grab some ownership. We're giving him a 24 fantasy point median projection. We have not updated ownership since the Barrett news, I don't think, unless I missed it. Like we updated the projections, but not ownership. That's going to change. I think he's going to get owned because that's a pretty good projection for his salary. I've not run optimals and stuff, but he might be like on the fringe, which kind of speaks to the lack of value, the desperation for value in this slate. The Isaiah Joe thing is kind of desperate. Yeah, that is really fragile to me. I'm not saying you shouldn't play him, but I don't think he's a 40% owned player. I just think that can go.
By no means.
It can. Officially, Jimmy Butler is in. Thank you for that in the chat. Jimmy Butler officially in. Yeah, Josh Hart, we got that news as well. What else are we waiting for news-wise? The starting lineup for OKC. I guess Cleveland, right? Cleveland, what's up? Let us know about Garland. Let us know about Butler. Jared Allen. My guess is they both play, but that's just me guessing. I believe they both practice as well. That is a 7:00 game, so we should be getting that news very soon. Yeah, you have to get it before lock, theoretically.
Halliburton news? Do we get any Halliburton news? We'll play Friday, so I like Halliburton a good bit.
Yeah, he's in. The only ones that we're waiting for is like the big ones. I think it's Garland and Allen, and something else might drop. Flying Armbar says, what about Quickly or TJ McConnell instead of Joe? The McConnell thing is kind of fraudulent. Well, no, McConnell's a no because Halliburton's in. You throw him out. Do not chase that because that was mostly garbage time and Halliburton being out. There's no way I would play McConnell. Feel free to confirm. And then Quickly's a guy that can drop 20 points. Like he can do that if he gets hot. It's an okay pivot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't mind Quickly.
All right. Crunch time is coming in momentarily. You got Kevin Roth, as well as the two Taylors. Taylor Zwarych. You guys know him better as TJ Zwarych. One of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatchewan, Canada. And Taylor, this is your first time on Crunch Time, I believe. Am I not mistaken? Welcome to the show, Taylor. Taylor Smith. You know him from a lot of written content. They're throwing you right into the fire. 7-gamer. Thankfully, not a lot of body parts up in the air. We have mostly clarity when it comes to guys that are in, guys that are out. So you're not going to have to multitask with lineups. Or maybe you are. But Taylor, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I blame Meansy for this. So file your complaints with him if this goes poorly. But I'm excited to be here.
It's going to go well. Don't worry about it. Roth, what's going on Friday nights? Are you watching your Mavs versus Jokic tonight? Are you excited about the in-season tournament?
I am, and if anyone is doing anything other than that, they've made a poor life choice. Like, these are two hot teams, two of the best teams in basketball, battling it out. It's going to be awesome.
You know nobody's playing Luka tonight, Roth.
Well, I am not either. That price tag is outrageous. I do have two guys tonight. I have two guys who both are getting 28 minutes so far on the season. Both of these guys should get 35 minutes. It's just worked out. They're averaging 28. They are both absolutely smashing tonight. 50-plus fantasy points for both of these guys.
What?
Yep.
Are you going to unleash them now, or that's a tease? Like you're going to slowly unleash them later on in the show?
I'll unleash them right now. Kuz and Ayton.
I like both of those plays, Roth. I like both of those plays.
If you told me I had $100,000 and I could make 100,000 lineups, I would have Kuz and Ayton in every freaking lineup. If these guys get 35 minutes, they're going to put up 50 fantasy points. They're just going to do it.
Those are the two worst teams in basketball, for the record. Washington.
Who cares?
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
TJ, are you sold on Kuzma and Ayton? Are you going to hit the lock button on those two?
I am sold on Ayton. I am a little bit less sold on Kuzma, but I do love me some DeAndre Ayton today. I'm planning on playing a lot of him. I got him in almost half my lineups.
Bobby, anything else for the people before we step aside and make way for crunch time? My bad. I forgot to mention Sib Labs. Bad job by me, but I'm sure Kevin Roth will mention it to you guys in just a second. Talk about it if you want to make lineups for football. Football only right now. It is free. Simulate a bunch of lineups, and Roth will handle that in a second. But Bobby, close strong. Who's our favorite play? Who's breaking the slate tonight? Who are you going to be well over on that's going to take you to the top?
Chet is breaking the slate tonight. Chet's the play.
I love the Chet homeroom call.
Approved.
I was Dean. That was Bobby. It's Kevin Roth. It's the Taylors. Roth, take it away.
Let's do it. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed Crunch Time, sponsored by Fanduel. You see it up there in the top right corner, top left corner. I should note, I'm just a weatherman. When I say things and yell things like Kuz and Ayton, they can't. I'm just a weatherman. We bring in two of the sharpest minds in the biz to help you figure out who you actually should play. One of those, as mentioned, my guy TJ in the house. What up, TJ?
Doing well, ready to dive into this slate. I got myself a nice little power nap in the afternoon. I'm not exactly sure where I am, who I am, but I do know who the best plays on the DFS slate are tonight, so ready to dive in.
Those can be disorienting. Sometimes I feel worse after a nap. I take a nap and I'm like, I wake up, I just feel horrible. Are you pro nap, TJ? You a nap guy?
I was today I have absolutely no choice but to nap today type of guy. Like it wasn't I made sure an alarm was set so that I was awake, but it was needed. So usually it was disorienting if I'm being honest, but it was needed today.
Well, I'm glad you got your nap in. You're ready to rock. And first time on the show, Taylor Smith in the house. Now you do core plays for us. You work on the projection team. You are not new to DFS. You're just new to the show.
I am. This season for basketball, I have an article going up, at least one article every day on RG. So I hope you've read me at some point if you're watching this. If not, welcome to me. But my first time on video content.
You are a seasoned vet, so we're stoked to have you here and kind of bringing you into the video side of things. And we're going to need your help because my conviction is strong, and that's scary. I don't really love that. So I'm going to need you to tell me some of these core plays that I need to get into. Would you mind kind of breaking down the slate for us a little bit and kind of going over, if there's any massive injury news we're waiting for, or if there's any games that are just super high pace, just anything in general before we dive into things position by position?
We are still waiting on, as far as I know, Garland and Jared Allen for the Cavs. We just recently got RJ Barrett out for the Knicks. Halliburton will play. TJ, if you have any, if I missed anyone, let me know. But I think the Cavs news is what we're waiting on primarily.
So I saw the Knicks news with Barrett out, and who is it? Josh Hart is starting in his place. Do we have it? Is he viable and valuable now? Like, I plugged him in a lineup, but I didn't feel good about it.
Yeah, I think I saw he's averaged like 0.85 fantasy points per minute since last year with Barrett out. He's fine. He's 4,700. We have him and Quickly and DiVincenzo all projected for 28 minutes. So I think they're all viable. DiVincenzo is the one in projections that stands out the most, especially on DK's 4,100. So
I see.
I think he's the one I would primarily plug in.
Interesting. And Quickly, and I actually, now that I think about it, Dean mentioned this as I was just signing on, but Quickly can rack up some points. Like, that dude can do more. He can get stuff done in 27 minutes.
Yeah, and he played 28 last game. DiVincenzo 30 off the bench. So they're both still probably taking minutes from Quentin Grimes, but that's kind of a game by game type of thing. So.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for clearing that up for us. We like to start things on the FanDuel side of the biz. The show, as I mentioned, is sponsored by FanDuel. Make sure you're checking out their fantastic offers right now. You bet $5 on any money line, get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins, and all customers get a profit boost every day. New users in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Shout out to our sponsor, FanDuel. Taylor, you want to kind of get things going here? Would you mind going position by position for us on FanDuel and walking us through a build here?
No, absolutely not. So we're missing Shea tonight for OKC. That's kind of the big one that we've had all day long. Isaiah Joe is the one that really pops in projections at 27 minutes projected, 3,900 on FanDuel. The issue with him is he doesn't always start. They've started Trey Mann in the past, and it seems kind of like Mark Daigneault or whatever kind of goes with however he's feeling that day as far as starting Joe or Mann. So not a guarantee he starts, but 3,900 on FanDuel is not too bad. The other one is Scoot Henderson's out for Portland. Anthony Simons is already out as well. So Brogdon's the super chalk at 6,500 on FanDuel. Pretty big usage with no one else out there in the backcourt. He should see 30-plus minutes, so he looks pretty good there. Now, Brunson had a 3% usage rate last year with Barrett off the floor. He's another one that really pops for 7,600. Shooting guard's kind of the same guys. Lugensdort for 4,800 is another one that looks pretty good. DiVincenzo we mentioned already. You can play Jalen Williams is another guy that should handle the ball a lot for OKC with no Shea. He was quite good last season. He's kind of tagged by everyone on lineup HQ right now, so he's kind of the chalk play of the day at that position. Let's see, Desmond Bain, another one, 8,100. He's like way cheaper on FD than he is on DK. So I think he'll get a lot of ownership at shooting guard, small forward. And power forward, Julius Randle is the one that stands out quite a bit. No Barrett, sub 8K salary. He could do pretty well against Milwaukee, who has the worst defense in the league, or second worst defense in the league so far.
Wow.
Let's see. And then Jeremy Grant, Jaren Jackson Jr. Both those teams are missing guys right now, so he should get plenty of usage. Jaren Jackson, he's only at 22% this season, but last year he was around 29 with Morant off the floor.
Okay.
For Memphis. And then at center, Xavier Tillman's the best point per dollar play on FanDuel, but his minutes are kind of fluctuating. He's not shooting the ball very well, but he's still averaging better than a fantasy point per minute. So I think he's an okay value, but I kind of prefer Brooke Lopez in the same range, on FanDuel for 5,200. So,
okay. Very good. Any other names you want to throw in there at center, or that's kind of that's where you're staying?
I do like Ayton on DraftKings. He's like
I got
$1,200 cheaper on DK than he is on FanDuel, but still playable on FanDuel. Kind of more of a GPP guy, though, I think.
Okay. Very good. I love it. Good stuff. TJ, let's bring you in. Let's talk tournaments. Like we talked about some of the chalk that we're dealing with here. Like Brogdon's got the rainbows. Jalen Williams got the rainbows. How heavy are you going on some of these dudes, and where are you trying to mix it up?
So there's a few teams before we get started. I just want to say, first off, make sure we're smashing that like button. Dean actually did a great job for once and got the likes way up on GrindersLive today. So I'm proud of Dean.
How did he even do that? Good for him.
We got 425 people watching. Let's bump these likes way up here. And it's also, I wanted to say, fun to do this show with Taylor, because this is our first time meeting, but I think we've had we kind of work in tandem for our articles a lot of the time. Anytime he's not doing a Prize Picks one for NBA, I am doing a Prize Picks one for NBA. And then on the weekends, he's doing core plays and I'm doing the tournament articles. So fun to finally link up here.
Nice.
In terms of tournaments today, there's 2 teams I'm focusing on the most, but 4 if you really look at it, and it's Portland and the Knicks first and foremost. Memphis has been horrific defensively. Milwaukee's been horrific defensively, and both of these teams are without major usage players. And so on the Knicks side of things, Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickley, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, I'm going to be playing a lot of all 4 of them. Before I get too deep into that, Jared Allen and Darius Garland are both in. We kind of thought that was going to happen. They both participated fully in shoot around yesterday. Cavs are starting Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. They're back to full strength. I'd love to target them more because they're facing Indiana. Indiana's horrific defensively and plays incredibly fast. But I have a little bit of Mitchell and a little bit of Mobley because I feel like those are the ceiling guys. But I feel like everybody's priced up too high now because they're priced up for Jared Allen and Darius Garland to be missing this game, and now they're back. So even though the matchup is amazing, and so they still have ceilings, tougher to get to for tournaments for me today. And so, like I said, for the Knicks, Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickley, and Jalen Brunson and DiVincenzo, those are the main priorities for me in tournaments, and I'm going to have at least one of those guys in every lineup, probably up to 2 in most lineups. And then on the Portland side of things, I will be actually probably a little bit overweight on the Brogdon chalk, but I'll be significantly overweight on the other guys around him, Toumani Camara, Shaedon Sharpe. I want to get to a lot of these guys today. So I'm getting to Kamara is my highest owned player at 75%.
Can we talk about Kamara really quick? Because I don't know anything about him. I was just dying for value and plugged him in. Is this guy minutes wise? Is he going to produce when he's out there? Is he going to sit in the corner? What are we talking about from this guy? What do you expect?
He's been. I don't have the number in front of me, but just kind of looking at game log, I want to guess in my head about 0.7 fantasy points per minute a game this year. Taylor, if you know the answer to that, feel free to chime in. But he's young guy, played decent minutes this year, and now that they're without Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons both, he's expected to pick up a lot more of them on the wing. Okay. Even though those are kind of point guardy players, it shouldn't matter all that much because they still have Shaedon Sharpe and Malcolm Brogdon who can play point guard, and so it'll likely be the wing players benefiting. And on a slate where we don't have a ton of great value, he definitely is my favorite on both sides.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
And then I'm going a really balanced approach today. Like we talked about DeAndre Ayton. They talked about Chet Holmgren on the last show, who I like quite a bit. Isaiah Joe is going to be chalky, and so I'm looking to get a little underweight on him, but a lot more Lou against Dort on the same team in tournaments. The next two teams in my tiers that would go after Portland and New York for me, it would be OKC and Memphis. And it's Dort, it's Holmgren, it's Isaiah Joe, and it's Jalen Williams. Joe is the only one I'm underweight on. Jalen Williams, I'm eating that chalk. And then I'm trying to get heavily overweight on Dort and Chet Holmgren today. But I also really like Desmond Bain. I also really like Memphis Grizzlies. Desmond Bain, Marcus Smart, Xavier Tillman. And then I'm even taking some shots on the cheapies like Luke Kennard, Zaire Williams, and David Roddy, who I think is very interesting today in tournaments.
Okay, very good. Anything else you want to throw in here? And if not, we can kick it over to DK.
I'm getting minuscule amounts of Jokic and Giannis, and I have no Doncic, and it terrifies me, but that's just how my lineups are going today.
There's just no value. There's no reliable value to balance those salaries, man. So I feel you. Do have some people asking Jokic on FanDuel, and like, yeah, probably great, but it's the rest of your lineup that struggles. Okay, let's kick it over to DK. Taylor, bring it back in the mix here. Let's go through one of these builds. I feel like the upper mid-range is great, but that lower range, it ain't working for me, man.
Before we swap to DK here, just
Sure.
we got a little mixed up in the now Devin tells me never mind. Not quick enough, Devin. Taylor, do you want tournaments or cash? You take your choice. I'll take the other one.
Kind of prep for tournaments, so if you don't mind taking cash, that's cool.
So I'll swap cash for this one. Noto's got Vucevic, Brogdon, Jalen Williams, all as core plays. I agree with all of them. The one that I don't think is maybe as 100% necessary would be Vooch. Vooch, I think you can maybe go without. Jalen Williams and Brogdon would be the two that I think absolutely 100% you need, though. So going into the point guard position, if you're not playing Brogdon here, I think you're getting up to Jalen Brunson, but Brogdon is probably who you're playing here at the point guard position and using somebody else for shooting guard. Mitchell.
And I'll add real quick. Noto is in the chat and he says he just took Vooch out of core plays. So there you go.
Perfect. There you go. Great timing. I got to get a show on here with Noto sometime. I've never done a show with Noto before either. I got to check him off my bucket list because he's a legend. But Brogdon, I think you're probably playing him at the point guard position. But if not, I would rather go to Brunson than paying all the way up to somebody like Mitchell or Lillard. And then if you're sticking in the mid tier, I don't hate the idea of going with Marcus Smart here. At the shooting guard position, I think you're choosing between either Brunson at the point guard and Bane at the shooting guard. Maybe not getting both. Maybe you are, and that's fine. But you're probably getting to one of those guys. If it's not Desmond Bane at the shooting guard position, I think it's Zach LaVine in the mid tier, all the way down to Dante DiVincenzo at 4-1 or Shaedon Sharpe at 7-3. I'm totally okay with here. Projections don't necessarily say to go with Sharpe, but I absolutely love Shaedon Sharpe here, and so I don't mind playing him in a cash game setting either. At small forward, you have your Bulls, DeRozan and LaVine. I don't mind either of them. I don't have my heart set. I think you're probably getting to one of these Bulls in cash, whether it be DeRozan, LaVine, or Vucevic. I think I would prioritize it DeRozan, Vucevic, then LaVine. But honestly, any of them are fine, and on any given day, they can explode. So Dante DiVincenzo at this position is totally fine. Shaedon Sharpe on this position is fine. And then Isaiah Joe is looking like he's going to be over 40%. It's gross chalk. I don't love it for tournaments, but for cash game, that totally can be fine. A guy that you plug in here. And then the other one we talked about, sorry for the barking, I think my wife.
Good.
Sorry, my wife just got home from work.
They're done barking that quick? It only took they just barked for it was 4 barks and they're done.
As soon as they go upstairs and find her, she's very good at quieting them down because she knows I'm on a show.
Mine go off for 30 minutes.
Josh Hart and Toumani Camara are two other guys that are small forward and power forward eligible. I love both of them. And if you land on them at small forward or power forward, I'm totally good at that. They're two of my favorite values on the slate. Elsewhere at the power forward position, Jalen Williams, we talked about. This is probably who I'm just locking in here because he only has power forward eligibility. You can't play him anywhere else. So that means I'm probably going, if I'm not using a forward or a utility position, on Hart and or Kamara being my favorite Hart in a lower tier, then I'm using him at the small forward instead. But Julius Randle and Giannis Antetokounmpo at power forward, I think, are cash game viable, but it's Jalen Williams for sure who you're plugging in here. And then finally at center, Vucevic is totally viable. Jaren Jackson Jr. is, Julius Randle is, Giannis is, Jokic is, if you have the salary and you land on him. And I don't even think it's crazy to go with Chet Holmgren if you land on him either. But my favorite personally is DeAndre Ayton, just like you, Roth. He doesn't have the ownership and projection to maybe go as a cash game play today. Maybe that's more of a tournament call. But if you have mid 6Ks and 6,600 to 6,800 range, I would not blame you for going DeAndre Ayton in cash one bit.
Okay. It looks like we do have a crunch time contest up. I might have to enter this right now and just crush everyone. Winner gets a free week of combo premium. So there is something to winning this. Problem is you got to beat the big guy. And I feel like my lineup is pretty much indestructible here with Kuz and Ayton. Taylor, let's get you jumping back in here. Walk me through like a DK tournament build and just what your thoughts are in general as you're building for tournaments.
Yeah, so I mentioned Isaiah Joe being kind of fragile chalk before, just because we don't know if he'll start. We don't know how the minutes will be. The Thunder always like to play a lot of guys, so there's really no telling. Like, he could play 27, which we have projected. He could play 22. I tend to think he's okay. I'm still going to play him as of now, hoping he starts, but I don't feel great about it. I do feel much better about DiVincenzo. Like I said before on FanDuel, I think 4,100 on DK is super cheap. I feel good about the minutes. Tibbs is one of those guys that likes his guys, and he'll run his guys into the ground. And DiVincenzo is kind of one of those gritty type of dudes that seems to play his way into bigger roles wherever he goes. So I'm optimistic about him. The chalk that I'll be eating in tournaments is Malcolm Brogdon, Jalen Williams, and Toumani Camara. I feel fine about just because he's cheap. TJ did a little deeper dive into him, but I think Portland is kind of just lacking guys, and they want to see what their young guys have because they're tanking. And, you know, you might as well see what you have in this random rookie that no one's ever heard of.
Sure.
And Memphis, they were one of the best defenses in the league last season, but this year they're 0-5. They rank near the bottom of the league. No Steven Adams. They're not nearly as imposing as they used to be. So Portland in general, like, I know we've been talking about Ayton since the last show, but I don't know how you don't like him. He's kind of a walking double-double. I think I saw he's still at 1.17 fantasy points per minute this season. Underpriced on DK. His usage, I think, still has room for growth. He's kind of acclimating to that new team up there. So he's a good call. Brunson, Julius Randle, two guys in tournaments that I'll be overweight on just because Barrett opens up 30+% usage for both of them. Another fragile kind of chalky guy that the projections like is Luke Kennard. No Derrick Rose in that backcourt. Obviously no Ja Morant. He could play low 20s minutes off the bench. And, you know, on a slate with middling value, I think you can get away with that and hope for the best.
Sure.
Feels terrible, but it's kind of the nature of the slate. A few more guys worth a shout are the Heat stars, specifically Bam, Jimmy, and Tyler Hero. I think they're all in the low $8,000 range, but they're playing the Wizards. The Wizards seem to get blown out every night, but the Heat can't score, so I hope the Wizards can keep it close. Tyler Hero, I think, ranks third in the league with like over 38 minutes per game. So there's like some sticker shock. I think he's 8,100, but
get those stats up so they can trade that contract.
Exactly. The Wizards can't stop anybody. They have Jordan Poole now, so he should be able to do whatever he wants. And I think that's a pretty good low-owned tournament play that no one's really going to be on. Same with Bam and Jimmy. Jimmy's shooting poorly, but he averaged I think his true shooting last year was 64%, and this season it's 46. So he won't be that bad forever.
Right.
I think it's a good buy low spot for Jimmy.
Excellent. Okay. Keep rolling through some of these forwards.
Forward Giannis. If I'm paying up for anyone over 5 years, it'll be Giannis because he should be pretty low owned. The suspect value, I think, has people favoring the balanced build a little more. So Giannis against the Knicks, it's not a great matchup, but it does feel like he's kind of due for an explosion anytime now. So hopefully he can do that tonight. The Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon are both in 6K range. Denver actually has the highest total on the slate, 117, I think. So that's not a bad play at what should be pretty limited ownership for both right around fantasy point per minute. And Jaren Jackson, again, his usage is due to come up. He's not been great so far, but should be fairly low owned in GPPs. So I like that against Portland.
Nice. All right. And then I guess you can walk us through the center position, although I feel like we've covered it pretty well here, but go for it.
Yeah. Vucevic, we've talked about. Bam, I talked about. Jaren Jackson, you can play there. The mid-range, Mitchell Robinson's fine. Xavier Tillman's fine. I think you can punt with Andre Drummond off the bench just because the matchup's good. Brooklyn's been bad against centers for years. And right now they have no Claxton. They're basically playing Ben Simmons and Finney Smith at center. So they don't really have any rim protection. They don't really have anyone to get rebounds. So I think Drummond, 3,700 is a fine, 5% owned punt.
Taylor coming out swinging with Drummond in the first show.
I didn't see that coming. Yeah, I didn't
Love
see
it.
I actually don't hate that. I was considering putting him in my pool earlier, and now I'm going to actually put him in one lineup.
Nice.
It's horrific, but he's Drummond. He can get you 1.5 points per minute. And if he's 15 minutes off the bench even, that could be enough.
Right. You didn't mention when you talk center, my favorite play on the whole slate, and I'm just going to give you a moment to reconsider or to mention DeAndre Ayton. Just,
I did mention him 6,600.
Okay.
I think I mentioned him with the guards because I was just kind of winging it there. But yeah, he's fine. I also like
just
Miles
so
Turner.
Excited about DeAndre Ayton.
That's good. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Okay, excellent stuff. Anything that you want to add here? We still have 15 minutes. Get some QQs, do some other things as well.
I do. I forgot to shout out Draymond Green. We're playing a lot of Thunder, presumably. I think running it back with a Warrior makes sense in a tournament. That game should be pretty close. It has a decent total. Draymond's minutes have been coming up a little bit. 6,200 on DK is a little cheap. So I think in a tournament, I don't mind that as a run back with Thunder guys. Okay,
very good. I want to just scroll up really quick. Remind everybody, we did get the DK Crunch Time contest in. It's in the YouTube chat right now. Winner gets a week of combo premium. I'm in it. So you've got some fish money in there already. You got $5 that you can, you can basically check off. So make sure you jump into that. That should be fun. It'll give me something to do on a Friday is to compete with you guys. So jump in it just for my sake. We're going to get to some QQs. Before we do, I should also note, I don't know if you guys are aware, we just dropped a beta version of a new NFL lineup building tool we've got. And for a limited time, you can check it out for free. It is called Sims Lab. It's a brand new product. It generates DFS lineups with the power of the Sims through simulations, combining data from every aspect of the slate, turning out lineups that you can match to your preferences. I did this. I don't know what I'm doing, and I did it in 50 seconds. It was super easy, and I made money on the lineup that I did it with. Just a few clicks, you can have hundreds of well-built correlated lineups ready to go for whatever type of contest you're playing. Check out the link in the description for more info. This is an NFL tool only for now. We may be trying to get it to other sports. I don't really know, but I know it's pretty awesome for NFL. So I highly recommend you check it out while it is still free and in beta. There it is. It's cranking out the winners right now. That's what that little dial is. It says, yep, generating your winning lineups right now. So make sure you're doing that, checking that out. In the meantime, let's get to some QQs. Dean also, by the way, is in the RotoGrinders contest. So you've got 2 host fish that are just giving money away in there. Make sure you're filling that out. Jumping into the RotoGrinders Discord.
One fish and Roth.
That's
One fish and Roth.
That's right. Let's see what we got here. Scrolling up just a little bit. Here we go. All right. TJ, and I'll give this to both of you, actually. It's kind of a fun one. TJ, you can go first. Your favorite low-owned stud in a FanDuel GPP, like single entry, one bullet type stud, ownership included.
So just because of the build style I'm going with today, it wouldn't be somebody overly expensive. I think it would just be Jalen Brunson. Having said that, he is closer to 20% owned. So with the spirit of that balanced approach, the one somebody in that tier on FanDuel I'd like to pair him with that is going incredibly low owned due to his high price is DeAndre Ayton.
Okay, nice. Taylor, you got a favorite stud? Would you even pay up for a stud on FanDuel?
No, I think balanced build is kind of the way to go on both sites, just because of the injuries kind of open the mid-range up quite a bit. The expensive guys are quite expensive on both sites. That said, I do think Giannis at 10-4 is cheap for Giannis standards. Blocks and steals being 3 points on FanDuel, obviously good for him. So I doubt he'll be very owned. That game should be competitive. Hopefully, the Bucks get blown out every night, but maybe that'll stop now. And I think I'll go with Giannis.
Okay, I like it. Good call, Mike.
Taylor, I'm going to take you one further in tournaments, and I'm not only going to put Andre Drummond on a team, but I'm going to make a little stack that has Andre Drummond and Day'Ron Sharpe in the same lineup.
That is extremely brazen and offensive, but I think it could work out.
It's those kinds of things that can win it sometimes. Taylor, FanDuel GPP question from Mike. He says, Joker is $600 cheaper than Luka. He's coming in at less than 4% owned, and he's going to smash. Can you get on board with that?
Yeah. The Mavs start a rookie at center, Derek Lively. No Maxi Kleba tonight. Derek Jones is one of their front court guys playing heavy minutes, so I have no qualms at all with Jokic. He should smash. So, yeah, I'm fully on board.
Okay.
I'm currently trying to find a way to get
question.
some more Jokic in.
Yeah. All right. TJ, FanDuel cash question for you. It's a 2v2. Butler DiVincenzo or Randall Dort?
Randall Dort.
Okay. Arze says, Taylor, since I don't think Joe will start, how do you feel about Jalen if he starts for the Thunder?
I assume that's the center, Jalen Williams. He's fine. He's pretty good per minute, as I recall. I haven't even considered him today, honestly. He's 4,300 on DK. Yeah, if he starts, I think I would do it just because why not? There's not much value elsewhere.
Okay. Crazy 37 says, TJ, FanDuel cash question. Who is your favorite center?
FanDuel cash, my favorite center would be. Why is my lineup HQ loading for me? Here we go. My favorite center for FanDuel cash would probably be. Honestly, Xavier Tillman or Brook Lopez.
Okay. Let's go to Taylor. This is a question from Jeps. It is DK GPP, and it is a 3v3. Are you prepared for that kind of craziness?
Let's do it. It's Friday. We can party.
That's what I like to hear. All right. The 3v3 is Sharp, Joe DeRozan versus Hero DiVincenzo Ayton.
I know that you want the Ayton lineup. I think I would go the first one, but I do think it's kind of a you can't go wrong type of thing. So both sound good.
Nice. All right. Speaking of a guy who is in both sides of these here, Ball says DK cash now, TJ, DiVincenzo or Joe?
It's Joe just because he's got a slightly higher projection, and the ownership is going to be higher on him. And so that actually works to your benefit a little bit in cash games. But if he doesn't start for some reason, and we get that news right before that New York game starts, then yeah, I would absolutely pivot to DiVincenzo.
Okay, great. Let's see. We want Dean says, can you ask TJ if he's playing cash tonight? You're more of a GPP guy. And how many Wizards can I feasibly roster?
I am not playing cash tonight. I'm just running 20 in tournaments, and I would be playing 0 Wizards in cash.
Okay, great. JT Money says, hey, Roth, help me out. First, introduce the GPP guy. I got here late, and then tell him to give me his favorite FanDuel play, one at each spot. That's kind of an aggressive ask, but I will start with the intro. That's Taylor Smith. He has does an article every day for us here on RotoGrinders. Works with core plays. Do you do core plays over the weekend? Do you do the core plays article?
Yeah, Noto's on weekdays, and I will be Saturday, Sunday.
So he's been. How long have you been with RotoGrinders doing NBA projections and such?
5 years I've been here, so I'm old.
You're a grizzled vet at that point, man. Yeah. But it is his first show, so if you're like, yeah, you don't recognize him, it's his first show, so that is why. And then the part of the question that you need to handle, Taylor, was one guy at each spot in a FanDuel GPP. It's kind of a big ask, but if you feel up to it, you can go for it.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with the Knicks in the backcourt. Brunson, too cheap for the role. DiVincenzo, I think in tournaments he's good. Brogdon, sorry, if you're feeling a little more chalky, he's a great play even as highly owned play. Desmond Bane, small forward, I think I'd lean that way. He's too cheap, 8,100 on FanDuel. If you have money to spend at power forward, it's Randall or JJJ. I don't mind Giannis or Butler, as mentioned previously, Jeremy Grant as well. And center, you probably need to save a little bit if you're spending up for the other guys. So I like Brook Lopez in tournaments, and I like Tillman in tournaments.
Okay, very good. By the way, we've got a crunch time tournament ongoing. Winner gets a week of combo premium for free, but there's only 25 people in it, and we need 75. So get in there, fill it up. You get free money in there, so make sure you're filling that out. In the meantime, we've got about 5 minutes until lock. I'm going to dive back into the QQs. DK single entry, TJ. You want this Kamara fella? Joe or Kennard?
Kamara, Joe, or Kennard.
It's your first. It's Kamara for you. That's your
Kamara. Oh yeah, Kamara. Sorry, I was thinking about the question as I was making a lineup, and it's 100% Kamara.
Yep. FanDuel single entry. Taylor, I'm coming to you here. Randall or Mobley? I feel like you're on Randall, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's Randall. Garland and Allen are back for Cleveland, so Mobley doesn't look quite as good. So Randall at a similar price.
Okay, great. Let's see what else we've got. Jumping into the YouTube, but get your questions in on the YouTube as well. Favorite forward, TJ, Mr. Papa Giorgio is making you work for it. Favorite forward, $3,800 or less in a DK GPP.
Favorite forward, $3,800 or less. Oh, it's Kamara.
Yep, there you have it. All right.
I will chime in if you don't mind on that.
Please.
In a GPP, I think Derek Jones Jr. is also viable. 3,600. He's been starting for Dallas, I think 27 and 31 minutes the last 2 games. So
nice.
Should be lower owned.
Okay.
And if you want to get crazy, you want to get absolutely crazy, the answer is Jabari Walker.
Oh, Jamari Walker would be real crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't exist. Jabari Walker.
Okay, yeah. I also have someone in the chat saying, how about Gilliard? He's going to get minutes without D-Rose. You got any Gilliard? I've never heard of that dude, but you know.
Is that a Memphis guy?
Randomly played 20 minutes last game with Derrick Rose out, and he produced pretty well. He had 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 points in 20 minutes. I have him in one of my 20 lineups that also has Roddy on the same team, and it also has Kamara on that team. And it's a Doncic Jokic team, and I'm playing a bunch of like cheap guys who would get run in a blowout.
Nice. Okay. What else do we have here? Darren says, DK GPP Taylor, I'm coming to you. You want Giddey and Smart? I feel like Giddey was crazy overpriced, but Giddey, Smart, or Chet Levine?
Giddey looks better without Shea, so I think that's why
that's
kind of getting some run. But
that makes sense.
I think I'd go with the Chet one.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. We got some people trying to convince Kirkwood to leave Boston. I agree. Come to Texas, man, or Canada. It's beautiful. It's beautiful this time of year. What's the temperature outside right now, TJ?
It is
in Fahrenheit, please.
It is a balmy. Oh, hold on. Keep clicking the wrong apps. It is a balmy 34 degrees with a side of free healthcare and tax-free DFS.
I thought it was going to be way worse than that. It's kind of cold in Houston, so I figured in Canada it'd be like, negative 20. Let's see what else we got. Cleveland Picker says, where do you guys have Kuz ranked tonight on FanDuel? You know where Kuz is ranked for me. He's number 2 behind Ayton. Do you guys have any Kuz on FanDuel, Taylor, TJ?
Kuz on FanDuel.
Not much for me.
No.
I think he's got a better price on FanDuel, but I don't love him in that matchup.
And I think
he's a worse price on FanDuel actually.
Yeah, and I think Randall and Jackson and Jimmy Butler look a little better.
Okay. Jeps, how come Kennard is popping on projections? That dude's terrible.
No Rose.
There's a mosquito. Hang on.
Cheap.
Yeah, no Rose and cheap is the answer there.
Yeah, they're alternatives. I don't think you have to do that.
Yeah. DKGPP, any issue with a Steph run back with a couple OKC guys?
Not at all. Sounds
all right.
great.
C. Denny says, TJ, are we expecting Jay Murray to play?
Jamal Murray? Yeah.
Jamal
I think he's
Murray?
probable, isn't he? I think he's good to go.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Easy enough. Let's see. Jay Sam says, Taylor, by the way, less than a minute until lock, guys. Make sure you get those lineups in. Although the matchup is tough on FanDuel, would Miles Turner be a crazy pivot off Bam and Vooch? Could rack up some blocks to help get there?
Yeah, I like that in a tournament.
Okay, nice. What else do we got? Rukin Verde says, thoughts on Javon Carter as a salary saver? Seems like he's heating up. Did someone mention him?
That's like large field GPP YOLO kind of thing.
Okay, all right. Dart throw.
Yeah, I mean, look,
playing
Ayo
100.
Dosunmu is not playing, so maybe if you're playing 150, I guess you could try it. But to me, that just shores up Kobe White a little bit more.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. Approaching lock quickly here. That's it. We got all the questions and we hit the lock. Taylor, what did you think? Was I too harsh on you, or how was your first ever on-air appearance here?
I enjoyed it. A little nerves at first, but we got over it, and quite fun.
Well, you are welcome back anytime. I assume the game plan is that this is not a one-off, right?
Yeah, I think on Saturdays, at least this month, I'll be on there a little bit. So tune in on the weekends.
Heck yes, because that's the show I was hosting and producing. And that is very difficult to do with a 2-man booth, so very happy we're getting a third one on.
Nice, or maybe he's your second.
Tim's on that show as well. Tim's on that show as well.
Okay, there you go.
Triple T's, baby.
Nice. Okay, well, make sure you tune in for that, guys. We are going to bounce on out of here. So for TJ, for Taylor, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.